What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at STRK, or also known as strike for Microstrategy, preferred shares. Get an 8% dividend, and you also get the upside of MSTR. This thing's been ripping up. You can see we've been holding this trend line pretty well. Depending on how you draw it, if you draw it more steep, then you could say that we've broken down outside of it. But for now, we're just going to stick with this trend line. So it's looking pretty good. Been rallying up ever since April 9th. You can see we pushed up a total of roughly 37%, and we're currently up 34%. We had a pretty large drop on June 5th. You can see it was a 7% drop, and in the next two trading days, you made 8.2% gain. So this thing gives you volatility with a solid dividend, which is pretty insane. I am curious to see how it fares in this bear market that comes up. And also I'm curious to see how it performs in the next bull market and in the rest of this bull market here. So of course we know this thing can go up, but I'm also curious to see how it goes down when we compare it to MSTR. So we'll see with time, of course. But we can take a quick look at what we've seen here, and from June 5th, that 7.5% drop is actually a larger drop than what we got on MSTR. But at the same time, when you look at May 22nd to May 28th, we dropped about 16%. So in that same time period, this was actually going up. So that's something to think about, because to the 28th, we kind of went flat. While MSTR dropped 16%, this went flat. So, they teeter back and forth, but you can see how it's kind of performed next to MSTR. MSTR is in the pink. Of course, this will outperform STRK in the bull, and apparently in the bear, it should outperform MSTR. So MSTR outperforms in the bull, STRK should outperform in the bear. Now this should also allow MSTR stock price to increase, because Saylor will be able to tap into the equity here, and that could allow the MNAV to rise, and that means that there's going to be less dilution on MSTR, which is what common shareholders are wanting. As we all know, the ATMs have been suppressing the price a little bit, but at the same time, Bitcoin also hasn't really gone up significantly. Kind of been trending sideways for an extended period at this point, but I'm sure things will be ramping up at some point soon. When you take a look at the SMAs on the daily, we are holding our 20-day SMA. We almost got a bounce here, and we shot right back up. And the last time we were here at the 20, it was here on April 17th. So it's been a while, and we've been ramping up. So that in confluence with this upward sloping trend line is very, very bullish. And on the 4-hour, we also have more confluence. We have our 24-hour moving average, and that's together with this upward sloping trend line. So let's see if price gets a bounce here. If not, we could see something where price breaks through, retests the 20, and then pushes down to the 50, and hopefully find a bounce there. And on the 1-hour, we are above our 20 and our 50, which is what you want to see. The 50 will act as a strong level of support. So we do have some support along with this upward sloping trend line on multiple time frames, which is bullish. When you're bullish on multiple time frames, that is the key to moving up higher on these levels. And here on the Bollinger Bands on the daily, you can see we're still well above our blue band, and we're not too far from the red right now at the top band. And on the 4-hour, we are just getting a bounce off of the blue band at the moment, which coincides with the upward sloping trend line as well. And of course, with global liquidity ramping up, we should see higher prices on all MSTR related instruments because of Bitcoin. When we look here on the RSI, we could potentially be getting a double bottom. Right here, a nice bottoming pattern, higher low, and push up higher back into overbought territory. we should meet some resistance when we touch this yellow moving average. But let's see if we can break it, retest, and then make our way back up. On the 4 hour, kind of the same concept, but we are touching the yellow moving average at this point. So let's see if the yellow moving average pushes the strength down, or if we can break out and push up to the upside. And on the 1 hour, we're still looking pretty good. When we look on a larger scale and you draw out a floor and ceiling, you can see we are sitting on that floor right now, potentially going to get a bounce. We'll find out. If not, we could fall through and then push back to the lower range. But ideally, we would want to see a move to the 70 overbought level here on the 1 hour RSI. On the daily MACD, we are extremely overbought right now, and we're trending sideways, and the blue just fell underneath the orange, and we did get the red flip. So we'll see if this is going to be a sustained move or this recovers relatively quick. On the 4 hour, we're looking a little bearish short term, but bullish long term. We are starting to see a kick up in the momentum to the downside, as you can see here. But I wouldn't doubt that we could get a flip again and have the blue moving average push above the orange. And here on the 1 hour, it looks like we're ready to flip. So on the shorter time frame, we are looking extremely bullish. As you can see, last time we got a flip at this level, we had a pretty significant move up. So let's see if we can see the same thing and we try and create that double bottom here on the MACD. If we can see something like that. So we already got the bearish momentum to the downside, and then it all kind of dried up, and now we got the green flip. So now we would ideally want to see a nice move like this here. Hopefully we could see that same move over here, and a nice momentum to the upside to push strike up higher, and that allows Sailor to tap into that to help out the common shares and purchase more Bitcoin at the same time. So this instrument, along with Strife and Stride, are all instruments that should help MSTR long term. And even in the near term now, because the less ATMs that are taken off of the common shares, the higher the price can go, the higher the MNAV can go. So, and that's what everybody that's holding MSTR wants to see. And that's the beauty of this strike here. You can get some exposure to the MSTR upside, but you're also getting a nice 8% dividend, which is a very, very high yield for this kind of percentage gains to the upside. This capital appreciation with that 8% dividend, that's insane. So I am very curious to see how this plays out over the next cycle or two. So I'm excited to see. This could be a nice little combination along with MSTR if you start to accumulate in the next bear and DCA in and you hold it for the next 3 years, or you keep buying for the next 3 years and then you sell it off, or however you want to do it. You could hold it forever if you want. If you get in at a good price, you might be okay. I am curious to see if MSTR were to take for instance, if Bitcoin goes down 50, 60%, I'm curious to see what MSTR does, and I'm curious to see what Strike ends up doing in that same period. So, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll keep you all up to date. But right now, things are looking pretty good. And here, when you take out the fib, we have a very, very bullish bounce off the 236. And it looks like we're ready to push to all-time highs already. So this thing's already rallied up pretty significant from the IPO. As you can see, like I said, 37%. That's crazy. While getting an 8% dividend, that's insane. From February too. So you're talking about 4 or 5 months, and you're gaining 37% while sitting at an annual 8% rate. That's insane. So there's no instrument like this that I can think of on the market. So I am curious to see how legit this is long term. Right now, I think it's a great play. Like I said, the bear markets are going to be where it's really battle tested to see if this is a something you actually want in your portfolio for an extended period. Of course, short term, it could be an amazing play. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. helps out with the algorithm, share with a friend, and drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this too. I'll see you guys in the next one.